Good morning, Red Staters. This is Moe Lane, and I'm speaking today with Mark Amodei, who is running for the 2nd Congressional District in Nevada, the special election there that was recently vacated by Dean Heller. Thanks for talking with us today, sir.
Thank you, Mo.
Now, if you could just really quickly describe yourself and why you're running.
Thanks, Mo. I'm a lifelong Nevadan, 15 years public service in the state legislature, in the Assembly, and in the Senate most recently for 12 years. And then the last year as the state Republican Party chair, father of two grown daughters, former Army officer, just been involved in the state in public issues and public service for about a decade and a half now.
And throughout the 2nd Congressional District, can you describe it for us really quickly and what's important to it and what they're concerned about right now?
Sure, Mo. The 2nd Congressional District is basically the whole state minus Clark County, which is the Las Vegas County, although we have 61 precincts in Clark County. So for all intents and purposes, it's pretty close to a statewide congressional district. We have significant agribusiness in the 2nd Congressional District, significant mining interest in the 2nd Congressional District, the resort industry, the Reno Tahoe area, manufacturing, tech business, all those sorts of things are important there. But we are particularly hard hit in these economic times with respect to unemployment and mortgage foreclosures and stuff like that. So in Nevada, much like most of the country, we're in a pretty challenging economic time.
Now, what would you say would be the major theme of your campaign? What are you running on?
Well, I think we're running on the fact that you need somebody who's focused on the private sector, put Nevada back to work, put Nevada back in a significant spot in dealing with the federal government on land use. About 85% of the 2nd Congressional District, Mo, is owned by the federal government. So obviously, when you're talking about economic development in the private sector, you need to involve the landlord. And we're also talking about depth of experience in the district in terms of living in the district, serving in the district, and working in the private sector for about 24 years in the district.
Now, as I recall, Southwest has been having a lot of issues actually on land use, particularly energy, both over in Texas with the EPA and agriculture in California also with the EPA. Are you guys having any problems along those lines, energy or water use or what have you?
Well, we've got anything to do with resources. You know, when you're the main state in the Great Basin, water is a phenomenally important resource no matter what you're talking about. We also have, in terms of the policies of the Bureau of Land Management and also the Forest Service regarding permitting times, whether you're talking about exploring for minerals, exploring for energy, potential geothermal sites, potential solar sites, all those sorts of things, the federal folks, in terms of their permitting times in particular, it gets close to a decade for permitting some of these things. And so we clearly need some attention at the federal level in terms of working with those agencies to speed up those times for purposes of spurring employment in the state.
And would you say that's been more of a problem in the last few years?
You know, it's been one that, I don't know if it's the last few years. Certainly the present administration has not done anything to help it. We have some wilderness study area issues in the BLM lands that have been on the books for longer than a few years that really need to be resolved. And so I think it's important that somebody kind of make that their job, one, all day, every day, in terms of making sure that those folks are as responsive as possible to the interests of the private sector in Nevada for permitting, for regulatory enforcement and things like that we need. Quite frankly, nobody's anti-environment, but this is not really about environmental responsibility. It's more about making the bureaucracy much more timely and responsive.
Okay, getting back to the actual campaign and so forth, what would you say what are you hearing from people on the campaign trail in your potential district? What do they want to see happen? What are they most worried about?
I'll tell you what, Nevadans are very, very worried about the economy. When you talk about predictability and stability, whether you're a business owner or whether you work for a business or whether you're retired, they have absolutely no security level right now in terms of the predictability and stability of the economy. They're looking for a change in direction back to the more traditional issues of free enterprise, private sector, those sorts of things. The unrest at the federal government in terms of the constant threat of major changes to health care brought along by Obamacare, or changes in the fiscal system, the financial system, which has got everybody from bankers to customers scared about what the story is going to be there, or things that have got them phenomenally concerned. There is no doubt that the folks in this district do not think that they are better off now than they were 2 years ago, and none of them think the federal government should be getting any bigger.
Okay, I have a couple more questions for you, then I'll let you get back to the campaign. The first is, your main website is amodeifornevada.com, AMODEI, number 4, nevada.com. And
right.
What the related question to that is, what can activists outside of your district and outside of your state do to help right now?
Well, I'll tell you what, the early voting starts in about 45 days, Mo. The election is on September 13th. The two primary things, obviously resources. If you want to contribute resources, there's a contribute opportunity on the website. And then the other thing is, if they know people in Nevada, we need to turn people out. It is traditionally a strong Republican district. We are taking nothing for granted, however, and want to be as strong as possible when they count the votes on September 13th. As a predicate to Nevada being a battleground state in 2012. So we want to be very strong and send a message from the majority of the landmass in the state to those folks for Nevada's congressional elections. There'll be 4 seats in 2012. Also, Dean Heller's running for John Enson's Senate seat, and we have that presidential election. So we want to make sure that Nevada sends a very strong message on September 13th to the rest of the nation regarding how it's going to be in 2012.
And as I recall, early voting in Nevada is very important.
Yep, about half of the folks vote early and absentee in most of our elections.
Okay. And last question for you. You get elected in September, you take office. What is the first thing you're going to do as a congressman?
I'm going to try to get on, I'm going to try to get the committee assignments that will put me in the best position to help the people of Congressional District 2, and I'm going to continue to be very deep into those budget issues in terms of turning the tide budget-wise, and also on the debt issue, because I firmly believe that more debt is a bad idea, not a good idea.
Okay. We've been talking with Mark Amodei, who is running for the 2nd Congressional District in Nevada. I want to thank you for taking time to talk to us today, Mark.
Thank you very much, Mo. Appreciate it.